Sex? Really?
Sex, really.
Sex?
Really?
Sex, really.
Sex.
Sex.
Really?
Sex.
Really? Sex. Really?
I'm Laura Sessions-Stepp, and this is Sex Really. Since the feminist movement of the 1960s, women have made huge strides toward independence and equality, especially in the workplace. They can be found at the top of nearly every profession, from military generals to corporate CEOs. Historically, though, a woman's rise in success too often seems related to a decline in her love life and prospects for marriage. This trend is especially notable in the African American community, as more and more black women are delaying marriage or not getting married at all. Feeling pessimistic about the U.S. dating scene, Correspondent Veralyn Williams made a trip to her birth country, Sierra Leone, West Africa, to see if things were any different there.
This time last year, there was a Nightline news report circulating all the blogs and social networks.
42% of black women have never been married. That's double the number of never married white women.
I remember watching this report at my desk at work and thinking, OMG, is this going to be my story? I mean, I'm 25. I'm 2 years out of college. I'm focused on my career. I'm about to apply for grad school, and I am single.
What we looked at were the large numbers of professional black women who groomed themselves for success with BAs, MDs, and JDs. 70% of them are still without the more elusive title, MRS.
Whenever asked, where are you from? I am quick to say I am from Sierra Leone, though I've lived in the Bronx since I came to the U.S. as a baby. And I'm always thinking about what my life would have been like if I would have been able to grow up there, especially when it comes to my experiences with the opposite sex. Last year, I made my second trip back to where I was born, Freetown, Sierra Leone. I was on a mission to see what dating would be like for me if I moved back there tomorrow. Luckily, both of my cousins are around my age, so it wasn't hard for me to find out what 20-somethings in Sierra Leone did for fun. I interviewed one of my cousin's best friends, Simche, and I asked him where he meets girls.
Meet girls everywhere. Like, typical Sierra Leone guy would just go up to a lady and try to make a conversation or something and get a number, and then later on you do a follow-up. That's how it works.
I then, for some reason, expected him to tell me about all the romantic dates he's planned and been on. Because, to me, the best things about Sierra Leone are the beaches and the foods, two elements for any great date. But no such luck.
We don't normally go out like on dates so much. You try to go visit the girl or she comes visit you and then...
So like you go to her house, she comes to your house?
Yes.
So there's no like romantic?
No, the romance comes in later on, but then, this is Africa. From an African point of view, we're not too romantic, so it doesn't happen that way. We kind of hang out and then the romance just happens.
Really? I talked to my cousin Les and his girlfriend Miriam to see if that was the case.
What's romance like being with a Sierra Leonean man?
Their definition of romance is very different from what reasonable women would expect.
So what romantic thing have you done for Miriam?
Miriam? I'm thinking.
He has to think, Lord, because there's nothing.
In London, I got her dress. It's a purple dress, right? Yeah. But she thinks about me posting things on a wall on Facebook.
That's spontaneous. If I wake up in the morning to check my mail and I see a nice message from my boyfriend on my wall, I would appreciate it. Not this one here.
I'm not that technology inclined. She made me to get used to.
Leave me a message and say, Miriam, oh girl, I miss you. Yeah.
Guys in Freetown didn't seem to be any more romantic than guys in New York. But they sure are not afraid to say those 3 little words women I know often wait months to hear. I love you. In fact, while I was there, 3 guys professed their love to me. Too bad they didn't know my last name. I asked my friend Vicky about this I love you phenomenon. She went to school in the U.S. and moved back to Freetown in 2007.
I think that
it is kind of bastardized and misused in Sierra Leone. You meet a guy 1 hour, it's like, hey, I love you, hey, baby, I love you. And it's like, no, you don't love me. But I think maybe it's a different kind of love, right? It's a kind of love that's, I like the way you look, I like the way you sound, I'm infatuated with you. But I guess it's difficult for me to say on a personal level that they don't mean it, because, I mean, maybe they love you for that minute, you know? That's why it'd be like a coup de foudre, like just, I'm in love with you right now. It's like love at first sight. It doesn't mean if I see somebody else, I won't love them too. It just means that for right now, I love you.
Vicky hosts her own talk show in Sierra Leone. And because Valentine's Day was coming up at the time, she was doing a love connection type show, where a bachelorette got to choose from 3 eligible bachelors.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause for all of our contestants, please?
When I talked to Vicky after the show, she pointed out another big issue I saw while I was there.
We have lots of fidelity issues, I think. You know, even when they're young and, you know, they're dating their peers, he'll have other girlfriends, she'll have other boyfriends in another school, and so it's kind of not monogamous. Even the people who are here part of the show, they're like, oh yeah, I have a boyfriend, but he's not treating me right. So I'm here on TV trying to find love. So that's kind of funny.
Another friend of my cousin, Tamil, is a lawyer in Freetown. I asked him why infidelity within relationships seems so widespread, and he pointed to the country's economic hardships.
People just do away with true love and just concentrate on the material things. They go out not for love, but in search of money, in search of wealth.
But as with any generalization, there are always exceptions. Like Vicky, who is in Sierra Leone focusing on her career and making her own money. I asked Tamil how women like her do on the Sierra Leone dating scene.
You have women here who are highly educated, but they like scare men away because of their independence, their philosophy. The African perception is that women should be submissive, they should be just docile, and the man should be doing things here and there. But having those educated women wanting to dictate to the man, I mean, marriage will be very difficult for them.
It's funny that you say the thing about a lot of the educated women here or the opinionated women here are single, because there's actually a study that just came out right before I left in America that said like something like 45% of black educated women in America are not getting married. Like, what do you think about that? Talk on that.
It makes me have the feeling that it's a universal problem. You know, one thing about black women, when they are educated, they feel on top of the world. They feel they should be controlling men, you know, and that's a wrong philosophy. But I do admire the educated, opinionated women who submit to their husbands, and we have quite a few of them. And these are the examples, you know, irrespective of your education. When you are at home, I mean, your domestic responsibilities, I mean, you should be seen in the kitchen or something. But these women, they don't do that, and I mean, it's pretty frustrating, you know.
I'd say the frustration is mutual. You should be seen in the kitchen? The feminist in me wanted to just die. But I understand in a nation like Sierra Leone, that way of thinking is the norm. And personally, I do agree a wife should take care of her husband, but she does so because she loves him and he's taking care of her, not out of some mandatory obligation. My mom grew up in Freetown, so she's experienced dating in Sierra Leone firsthand. I recently told her about what I found while I was there, and I asked her if things had changed from her day.
Now with the situation in Freetown, it's almost like the economic situation, like people feel like, I don't know, like it's almost like there's a shortage of men. So women tend to share a lot, or they don't mind, or if they think it's acceptable. But then they say back in the days, like in mom's days, it was worse then. Like you'd have one man and he'd have like 2 distinct families because of the economic situation. Like the man was like the breadwinner, whatever.
So maybe that's why like a lot of independent women are single, because they don't want to put up with some of the things.
No, exactly. Some people don't want to put up with it, and you know, it's like, forget about it.
And I think that's the case with anyone, anywhere. If you have the means, you're going to live life on your own terms. You're going to be less likely to put up with arrangements you're not comfortable with. And personally, I put cheating in the not tolerating it box. With that said, in a society like Sierra Leone, getting married is just what you do. It's not a question of if, just when. So of course people are making compromises to obtain that marriage certificate every day. And frankly, that happens in the US too. I asked my mom if dating and relationship wise, I was where she expected me to be at 25.
I got married when I was 25. You want me to be honest? I don't think marriage is for everybody. I think marriage is good if you're ready, and you found the right person, but I don't think you chase marriage.
Honestly, I was surprised to hear my mom say that because she has always been traditional in this area. But I guess being in America for so long and listening to talk show host Wendy Williams for years has changed her views. Do you think that would be different if you lived in Sierra Leone, or is it too hard to tell?
If you live in Sierra Leone, everybody wants their kids to get married, so maybe there'll be a little bit. I don't know about now, what the situation is now, but probably in the past, yes.
You think you yourself will be different?
In my expectations of you, probably. Yeah, and I think maybe my ideas have changed over time. It may have changed over time. I don't know.
So, would I stay single if I move back to Sierra Leone tomorrow? Who knows? My mom found my dad in a similar dating climate, and they've been married for 27 years. But now that my mom has given me the "it's not a big deal" green light, I vow to never settle. And if need be, I have no problem joining the other 70% of Black women in the U.S. who are probably just not settling too.
No one likes the idea of settling for somebody as a partner. Maybe a better way to think about commitment is to ask what kind of person you want to settle in with. What kind of person makes you feel both accepted and challenged, loved and loving? As Veralyn is learning, being in your 20s gives you the opportunity to ask questions and gradually arrive at some answers. I'm Laura Session Stepp, and this is Sex Really.